Love on the High Seas, a serialized gay romance taking place on the Caribbean cruise liner, the Majestic Star. Follow along with me as I take everyone on an epic adventure with love, murder, and mystery. Penned by Ryland Mason, narrated by me, Brian Shepard. Episode 6, Joey. Passengers began to get nervous as water could be seen above their portholes as they were calling into the front desk. Some passengers thought the ship was sinking. The waves were much higher as the storm pressed on, as they must have reached at least 50 feet. The ship was pitching up and down, almost like a teeter-totter, and when it came down, it did so with a bang, which would send a shudder through the ship. The Majestic Star sat low in the water, which was a good thing, as it gave more stability so not to pitch too much to one side. An equal amount of ballast was added to each side, just in case. The weather station was predicting winds up to 160 miles per hour. As it was, they were gusting at about 80 currently. Like I said, the ship was taking a beating. However, the crew reported no damage. The worst part of all of this is that we were now sailing in darkness. I made sure to also check in with Chief Gunner on our power distribution and, of course, engines, as I did not want to lose power. I wanted all ship systems to be checked and double-checked. I would occasionally check in with Chance, who was still standing in the back. He looked tired and worn out. "I thought you would have gone back to your cabin when Justin left," I said as I adjusted our speed. "I'm just not sure I'd be able to sleep with all this pitching. I guess I could try," he said as he yawned. Now that I think about it, I'm not sure I want him wandering around, as it was difficult enough staying in my seat. I could just imagine trying to walk down the stairs. I could have him escorted to my cabin, which is closer, as it was under the bridge, one deck down. "Hey, how about I have Perkins escort you to my cabin, which is closer? I believe you'll be more comfortable there. I would also feel safer knowing that you got down there all right," I said as Perkins walked over after hearing his name. "Please escort Mr. Whitaker down to my cabin. Here is my key card. Please return it to me. Chance, I will check in on you when I can. Get some rest." He nodded as Perkins instructed him to take a hold of the hand railing against the deck and not to let go. Walk slowly, and that he would be behind him. I got nervous hearing that bit of information. I placed my hand on his shoulder before he walked out the door. He turned, and, of course, with a smile. "Be careful. I'll see you soon," I said as he simply nodded and walked out the door with Perkins right behind him. Later, Perkins returned and informed me that they both made it to my cabin, and he handed me back my key card. Can't lose that. "Captain, we have a dead ship in the water. Information from the Coast Guard says it's the oil tanker Mirage, lost engines and broke free of her anchor and is now adrift. We are to report any sightings." Great. This is something else I thought I would never happen to me. No engines means the ship has no power. It will be difficult to see. "Andrews, keep a lookout. Phillips, keep an eye on the radar. I'm sure it won't be hard to miss the Mirage." It was just never ending, it seemed. The Mirage was an oil tanker, which I've seen many times entering the canal on its many trips from the South refineries. She was an older ship, if I was not mistaken, although she was big, around 965 feet. They are built with a double hull, so in the event it was to collide with us, it would do a lot of damage, and the Mirage would most likely continue on sailing. As the waves continued to slam against the ship, reports of flooding in the main lobby as water was coming from the top deck under the doors and splashing down the stairs, causing water to pool and slosh around. Shillings also reported that the pool was empty and that we lost 2 deck chairs to the wind. As I looked out the window, you could barely see anything. Pitch black. It was only when the lightning would strike, it would light up the tops of the waves, showing them off just before it crashed into the side of the ship. Even though this ship was built for this type of weather, I'm not sure how much more of a beating she's going to take. Radar now indicates that the hurricane named Ian has changed course and was definitely moving in our direction at a higher speed. Looking to port, I thought I saw something lurking on the waves. Yet it could just be that, the waves. That's when the vessel detection system alarm went off, and you could see the Mirage on the same heading. According to the radar, the ships would be parallel, it seemed. Looking again out the window, it wasn't until the lightning lit up the sky that I could see the huge black mass riding the waves alongside us. I'd say no more than 100 yards or so. I could also tell that something was not right, as I could see more of the deck of the ship, like she was listing to starboard, badly. Phillips, try raising the Mirage. Let's see if we can get a status update. However, I don't see any lights on. She should have backup. I stopped as I saw a white flare fly up into the air, signaling that the Mirage was indeed in trouble and sinking. In the brief light, you could see men loading into lifeboats. This meant I had no choice but to help in the rescue of these sailors. Ahead slow, keep the boat in sight and alert Shillings and the security chief to meet me in the main lobby. Andrews, you have the watch. Aye, Captain, I have the watch, Andrews confirmed as I made my way off the bridge. No simple task, as I had to make my way down the stairs on the outside to get to the deck. Now that everything was wet from the rain and waves, it was becoming very slippery. I just needed to make it to the deck and into the first corridor, which would lead to the staircase down to the lobby. The forward momentum was not helping, as the ship would pitch forward so much I felt like I was going to fall down the front of the ship, to then have it hit the water and bounce back up. Nerve-wracking. Making it to the deck, I proceeded down the corridor to the stairs leading down to the lobby. As the ship moved from side to side, I could see the water coming in from the doors, leading out to the deck. The water would then run down the stairs, so as I approached the bottom step, I could see the water starting to pool. I could just feel the water under the carpet. The reason for the main lobby was because the gangway doors opened, allowing easy access to the sea, and considering we were sitting low, so it helped. Shillings and the security chief finally arrived and started to assist me in grabbing the rope ladders that we attached to clips in the floor and throw off the side of the ship. The 2 large doors slid open, and of course, which then allowed the wind and rain to enter, making it difficult to see out the doors. The waves and the movement of the ship did not help either. As Shillings and the security chief stood ready to help bring sailors aboard, we could see the orange life rafts adrift and trying to head our way. The ship, you could tell, was going down by the bow, as the stern was now rising up out of the water. A total of 3 rafts came alongside, and the men started to grab and climb the ladder. As they reached the top, we would grab and help pull them onto the deck. By the time the sailors were on board, we had a total of 25, including the captain. Where to put them? The only place that we had room for them would be in the theater, as I already had a full ship. Plus, it offered seating. They would be accommodated there with blankets and something warm to eat and drink. Somehow, the cook was still able to make sandwiches and coffee. He was smart and was using to-go cups and containers. I would imagine that some would not be eating due to the storm. I would not blame them. With the crew of the Mirage settled and being taken care of by my crew, it was time to see what happened to their ship. The security chief has already escorted the captain to the bridge. First, I need to make a pit stop at my cabin and check in with Chance. 2 hours has passed since he left the bridge. I'm hoping that he has at least got some sort of rest, as he was looking tired and worn out from everything going on. Reaching my cabin, which took forever, thank God for grab bars along the corridors, because I'm not sure how else I would be able to stand and walk down the corridor. Entering my cabin, I found Chance laying on my bed, sound asleep. Not sure how he could be sleeping in such weather, yet he was tired. I grabbed my coat off the back of the desk chair and headed quietly back out. That's when I heard a noise. I turned around to find Chance sitting up, rubbing his eyes. "Hi," he said, yawning. "Hello to you too. Just grabbing my coat and heading back to the bridge. Sorry if I woke you," I responded as I walked over to him, sitting at the end of the bed. "What time is it?" he asked while looking around to find the clock. He won't find one, as I only use a watch. "It's nearly 5 in the morning. You slept for a few hours." Sleep. I wish I could sleep. I was so overtired. Taking care of a ship in bad weather will drain you, mentally and physically. I would rather crawl in next to Chance than have to go back to the bridge. Yet, duty calls. "Wow, I guess so. How is everything going?" "I need to get to my cabin so I can shower and change," looking down at his clothes as he realized he slept in them. "You should be all right to go down, but I want you to be careful as the sea is still angry. I have to get back to the bridge, but when you're finished, meet me there," I said as I got up and walked towards the door. "Okay, thank you again for letting me crash here," he replied with a half-awake smile. "No problem. I'll see you soon," I said as I smiled and walked out the door. Now it was time to get back to the bridge and relieve Andrews for the morning. I would start after breakfast when Andrews returned. I finally reached the bridge. Perkins was first to grab my attention as Andrews maintained our course and speed while chatting with the Coral's cruise director. I believe his name was Ben Fairbanks. They seemed to be hitting it off. All I saw were smiles on both faces. Interesting.